Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
Sound great.
Better? Better? Okay.
No, you were better before. There.
I want each of you to really, first, before I start, thank your helper, your caregiver. Thank you. Will be will be in charge of how you come out really well. And I want to thank mine over there, my wife Connie. Before the stroke, I was a DJ for 30 years. A DJ is a guy on the radio that talks about, you know, right now it's hard to get on as a DJ. It's really hard. I got in on the very tail end when I worked for a station in the Tri-Cities, and I worked my way up to, I worked my way up and up and up. I worked at Home Depot, this one out here. After my DJ work stopped, and I was a videographer for legal depositions. When they do a deposition, a lot of times they have a legal video, and I did that. 5 years ago, in July of 2000, I was packing up video equipment and something snapped. I don't know what it was. I don't know, something snapped, and I must have got hit by the snapping. I went to the bathroom, and I got up in the mirror and I looked. I couldn't see anything wrong, but I couldn't see in my left eye. So I called my wife. My wife was out of town. One of the few times she's out of town. She was out of town, so I went to the ER at Northwest Hospital. I finished packing up all my equipment, put him in the car, and drove down to ER hospital. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. Finally, a guy showed up who said, I think your left eye lost consciousness. I don't think you can see your left eye. I said, okay. He said it was probably a blood clot somewhere. Your right eye next to the left eye. Your left eye connects to the right eye somehow. So he said to go to the eye doctor. I went to the eye doctor. He confirmed my blood clot. said to go to primary care first thing in the morning. Well, it was Friday. So I drove on home and I could only see out of one eye. I don't know why I got on the treadmill, but I got on to exercise. Now, it's not that I exercise very often, it's just that I got on the treadmill to exercise. And I felt a little weird. I got off and I sat down and I was dizzy. My cell phone was in my pocket. I fell to the floor. I couldn't get up. It was a couple of hours, or at least, when my daughter got home, Elizabeth. She found me, called 911, and the ambulance came and took me to Swedish Hospital, Cherry Hill. I spent 3 days in CU, maybe a month or so in rehab. I was really out of it. So right now, my right arm and leg are paralyzed. My left eye, and of course,
Aphasia.
But I have some things that I was proud of. Some things that I knew I couldn't be an announcer anymore. So I looked to my convertible. I had an '86 Mustang convertible, and it was just right. It was an automatic. I could take my my left leg, move it over, and I did it with I took and I went to get the driver's license. I didn't pass first time, but I got it the second time. The second time I got my driver's license, and that meant so much to me because I could finally drive. I went to a car show in 86, 87, and I won an award. I'll show it to you.
Oh, that's nice.
I'll pass it around. That was for the 1983 through 86 Mustang convertible. I was the only one. I couldn't believe it. I was the only one, so I won it. Since then, they've probably changed the rules, but I thought it was okay. I also found that I had a couple of screenplays that I wrote when I was working as a disc jockey. Screenplay is like a play, but it lists the camera direction and stuff for videographers. I expect these to be anyway. What I had one was full, and I put it on my website. The other one doesn't have the end, but I'm working on that. So I'm working on putting those screenplays on the website. The website has been very, very good. I have business cards. You can take a business card, and the top ones have my car on the other side. And the website is not easy to do, but it's pretty easy. You can, well, Garrett does a website, and it's pretty good for yourself. I also have a radio station on the website. It's easy to get to. There's stereo and there's mono, two different ways of getting it. And Tom McCarthy, who was the morning man for Warren 106 and Warren 9, he does the liners for me. And if anyone wants to start their website, or they can help me. That's about where I am right now. Are there any questions? Yes.
So, when you went to the hospital, did you have an operation?
No, I didn't have an operation. No. Any more questions? Yes.
Or this?
Were you first, as a disc jockey,
Uh-huh.
where?
Where? Just about every station. I was KUJ, KOMO.
That is so nice.
I was up in Everett at KRKO, many different stations.
106.9.
106.9 was the last one. Yeah.
When you first noticed that you were blind,
Mm-hmm.
and you went to the doctor, the emergency room, did you have any other symptoms at all when you went there? That was
No, that was it.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, that was, as far as I knew, I drove the car and everything, and it's,
And he thought you had a blood clot on your optic nerve, is that?
yeah.
Wow, it's amazing they didn't go any further than that.
Well, and when we talked to some other doctors later, they kind of implied that maybe they should have done something, because what we think happened is that maybe a bungee cord hit his carotid artery, because there was a dissection there, and when he called me on the phone, he said, I hit my neck or my face with a bungee cord. He didn't remember that later, but that's kind of what my guess is, that it hit that artery, and if they would have done any kind of look at that artery, maybe they would have seen that, and we could have prevented the stroke that night.
So what might have happened, I remember Garrett was talking about his stroke, And he said he had something they kind of referred to as wallpaper on his, inside of his artery. And kind of knocked a piece of the wallpaper loose, basically,
Yeah,
by riding his motorcycle or something.
yeah.
So it could have been something similar to what they were thinking.
But apparently,
You had a question?
Yeah, my question was that, similar to his, why did they keep you then there when he saw the blood clot, right then and there? Or refer you, just send you straight home?
I guess you can lose an eye without having other things. I don't know why.
Blood clot is not normal.
we even talked to an attorney, and they said, well, they followed the procedure. And
Yeah.
apparently people do have blood clots on their optic artery and lose their sight, and they don't go on to have strokes. I mean, it's one of the main signs of a stroke, is loss of vision. So it's hard to understand.
I have a friend that had blood clots and her eye doesn't work. It's been 25 years.
And no stroke? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, I had a similar experience 15 years ago. I was at work, waking late on the computer, and I had uncontrollable blinking of my left eye. In fact, I knew something was wrong, and I had to drive home, and I did drive home. And then I had a massive stroke on my right side.
Wow. Why are you in your car?
I got home and I just stepped across the threshold.
Wow.
And everything went south. But I could never understand what the left eye. I didn't lose sight in my left eye. It came back, but that was a symptom.
I'm glad I got 2 eyes.
Was
What?
your blood pressure normal?
Yes.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have high
Are you
blood
still
pressure.
blind in the one eye?
Yeah. Mhm.
Didn't they have high blood pressure?
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Well, I know what happened to me when I had my stroke was you know, my blood pressure, it was blood pressure induced.
Uh-huh.
So therefore, I had brain surgery the very next morning.
Wow.
And so when they went in, they cut my occipital nerve. And then they cut, because I had a brain bleed right here.
Mhm.
And so they had to go in there and find out where it was, where I would, to save my life. They did.
Yeah.
And so the occipital nerve then got cut, and then my cognitive nerve got cut. So with all that trauma occurring, I am just very, very grateful to be here.
Mhm. I think we should all be very, be grateful and thankful that you're here. And keep in mind, this isn't, I have worked with the MS group. Gary's my best friend. If you can see somebody that can be your best friend, reach out to him and tell them and become friends with them, because Gary and I go away, I can't go into the stuff he's helped me with. He's real good. And I advise you, don't do it alone. Get a friend. Get a friend. Yeah.
I was wondering, did you have any headache?
No. No. She said, did I have a headache? No, I didn't have any headaches. Yes.
I think it's amazing that you have such a good recollection of the events leading up to your stroke, and apparently some of the event itself. I have none.
Well, my wife helped me fill in the details.
Filled in the blanks
Yeah.
for you. Huh?
Yeah, I didn't.
I've often wished that, I thought for a long time that someone must have had a video camera running through all this, but of course they didn't.
Mhm.
And I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out just what happened that night.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
His memory was.
a lot